From mind-blowing suspense to breathtaking plot twists, Chicago Fire has never failed to keep us on the edge of our seats. Here are Chicago Fire's most heartbreaking moments from the show. Right off the bat, our emotional journey begins with a tragic love story that tore hearts apart. In Season 1, Hallie, a dedicated physician, shares a beautiful bond with her boyfriend, Casey. They were like two puzzle pieces that fit perfectly, until fate took a cruel turn when Casey and Severide found Hallie inside the locked security cage used for drug storage. They rescue her, only for her to be pronounced dead at the hospital, leaving Casey shattered. The medical examiner's report revealed a shocking truth. Hallie wasn't a fire victim. Her murder happened before the clinic went up in flames. She had stumbled upon a dangerous drug operation and became a witness. Who is the person responsible for her death? A ruthless drug trafficker named Timothy Campbell. Justice prevailed when the fearless Hank Voight took matters into his own hands and ended Campbell's reign of terror. However, it was too late to undo the damage. Hallie's death profoundly impacted Casey, sending him into a spiral of grief and uncertainty. And maybe that's why the writers threw him and Gabby together so quickly. Casey desperately sought solace, and Gabby provided the much-needed support. Their evolving relationship added another layer of emotional depth to the show, leaving fans both excited and torn. But Hallie's death didn't just affect Casey and Gabby. In fact, it was just the beginning, literally, and it would go on to shatter the entire Firehouse 51 family. The loss was a harsh reminder that in this dangerous world, no one is safe. Fans took to Twitter, expressing their shock and proclaiming that Hallie Thomas deserved better. Emotions were high as fans took in this jarring opener to a shooting show. Poor Miss Thomas's story wasn't the only heartbreaking one on the show. This time, it's not a murder, but a ghastly and traumatizing suicide. In this super tragic episode, Rebecca Jones takes her own life. Rebecca grew up in a household surrounded by Chicago Fire Department officers. Her father, a respected senior in the department, and her three brothers, all lieutenants. Firefighting was in her blood, and she dreamed of following in her family's footsteps. But unfortunately, not everyone believed in Rebecca's abilities. Her own father held a prejudice against female firefighters, believing they had no real use. When Rebecca joined House 51, she faced an uphill battle to find acceptance. She didn't fit in at first, but as time passed, she proved herself and started finding her place among the team. Take that, Papa Jones. Unfortunately, the victory didn't last. Her father threatened Casey and Chief Borden's jobs, telling them to sit Rebecca behind a desk where she belongs. But Chief Bowden stood up for her, promising not to give in to her father's demands. But it was already too late. The weight of Rebecca's father's rejection took a toll on her psyche. Feeling trapped and alone, Rebecca made a dreadful decision. She went home, sat at her kitchen table, and wrote a heartbreaking letter to her friend Dawson. Little did anyone know that this would be the last communication between them. Sad as it is, that's not all. This heartrending story has left fans outraged and deeply upset. They believe that Rebecca Jones was never truly embraced as an equal member of the Chicago Fire team, and this rejection played a significant role in her decision to end her life. As if losing Rebecca wasn't enough, House 51 lost another comrade to a tragic death. The death of Leslie Shea was a sad one to watch. In the heart-pounding second season finale of the hit show Chicago Fire, tragedy struck the tight-knit crew of Firehouse 51, leaving fans shocked and devastated. The unforgettable death of firefighter Leslie Shea sent shockwaves through the station and the hearts of viewers worldwide. It all started when Chief Bowden's wedding ceremony was cut short because of an urgent call to battle a raging building fire. Eager to help, Shea and Dawson fearlessly head into the fire alongside Squad 3. Inside, they got right to work together, as she would be taking charge once Dawson departed. Little did they know that fate had a cruel twist in store. As the two courageous firefighters swapped positions, Dawson confided in Shea about Casey's potential proposal, a secret Shea had already been privy to. They were engrossed in their conversation when tragedy struck. A deafening explosion rocked the building. Amidst the chaos, a pipe violently crashed down, striking Shea fatally on the head while the force of the blast threw Dawson back. Severide arrived to a shocking scene and finds Dawson frantically performing chest compressions on her fallen comrade. Without missing a beat, he jumped in to help too. However, despite their frantic efforts, Shea still died. But that's not even the truly shocking part. It is eventually revealed that Shea's death was no mere accident. Investigators uncovered the chilling handiwork of Trenton Lamont, an arsonist who had been stalking her. This deranged individual had set the fire that claimed Wallace Bowden's health and led to Ross Clayton McGowan's and Henry Mills's deaths 2 decades earlier. The revelation added a sinister layer to Shea's tragic end, fueling the collective grief and outrage of Firehouse 51. In a heartfelt tribute, Firehouse 51 honored their their fallen comrade by dedicating an ambulance in her name. At the emotional memorial, the characters and fans alike mourn Shay's death. Her character was well-loved and a fan favorite. Many fans expressed their disappointment at the diminished representation of strong female characters and the LGBTQ+ community on the show, highlighting the significance of Shay's presence and the void left in her absence. Despite this huge loss, the team forges on, continuing its bold mission to protect and serve. It's even more heartbreaking to see that they are doing everything to help Shay's legacy live on, forever etched in the annals of Firehouse 51's courageous history. If you're a true fan of this show, you'd know these guys hardly ever catch a break. Christopher Harriman, as kind-hearted as he was not spared the devastating moments of the Chicago fire. We open with Christopher Harriman, the heart and soul of House 51, lending a helping hand to troubled teenager Freddie. Harriman's always been known for his jokes, but things take a dark turn this time. Little did he know that his teasing would have grave consequences. In a tense exchange between the two, Freddie pleads with Harriman to take back his hurtful remarks, but with his characteristic obliviousness, Harriman dismisses Freddie's plea, unaware of the magnitude of the situation about to unfold. In a fit of rage and desperation, Freddie grabs a steak knife, his face contorted with anger. With a swift and shocking motion, he stabs Harriman right there and then. The room falls silent. Moments later, Dawson discovers Harriman lying in a pool of blood. Without hesitation, she springs into action, desperate to save Harriman. But it turns out, steak knives do a lot more damage than you'd think, and Harriman is quickly on the verge of dying. As the news spread, Harriman's critical condition devastated House 51, as he had been their pillar of support for over 10 years. Insensitive jokes and all, they happened to like the guy. In his weakened state, Harriman shared a heartfelt moment with Cruz, the firefighter who had brought Freddie into their lives. He wasn't ready to forgive Freddie, but he made it clear that he didn't blame Cruz for what happened. Throughout their journey together, Harriman became a father figure to Cruz and the rest of House 51. Even in his last moments, Harriman's love for Cruz shone through, demonstrating the unbreakable bond they had formed over the years. It's moments like these that remind us why we love Chicago Fire. House 51 and Chicago Fire fans held their breath, fearing the death of the beloved character. But thankfully, the surgeons at Chicago Med managed to stabilize him, and emergency surgery was performed. Across social media, fans talk about the close shave and express how relieved they are to see Harriman make it out alive. Despite this, not everyone had the same luck as Harriman, as seen at the end of Season 7, where we were left on the edge of our seats as our favorite firefighters found themselves trapped inside a raging inferno. We all hoped for a miracle, but little did we know tragedy awaited us. Otis has always been a fighter. From surviving gunshot wounds to being told he may never walk again, he defied the odds repeatedly. We thought he would conquer yet another obstacle, but sometimes even heroes meet their match. Seeing Otis lying in that hospital bed was a gut-wrenching sight. But the presence of his brother, Joe Cruz, truly shattered our hearts. Joe Cruz, the pillar of strength for House 51, was brought to his knees by losing his dear friend. The waiting room filled with the rest of the team, but the bond between these two brothers took center stage at that moment. Otis, summoning his last reserves of strength, whispered his final words to Joe in Russian, "Brother, I will be with you, always." Those words, laced with love and brotherhood, was all fans could talk about. A truly gut-wrenching and touching scene. The passing of our beloved Otis left a void within House 51 that no one could fill. While mourning their fallen comrade, the team came together to erect a memorial paying homage to a man who impacted their lives. Fans of Chicago Fire were shattered by the loss of Otis. We mourned alongside our favorite firefighters, feeling the weight of the tragedy. But amidst the sorrow, we must acknowledge Yuri Sardarov's incredible journey as an actor, bringing Otis to life. The outpouring of fans' emotions showed how deeply connected we become to these characters. We laugh, cry, and feel their pain as if they were a part of our own lives. So from unexpected deaths to shocking revelations of characters' true intentions, these are Chicago Fire's most heartbreaking moments from the show.